Let's move on to a big game here. Number 5th ranked Georgia, 3-1, 3-1 in the SEC at Kentucky, 2-3, 2-3 in the SEC. Georgia coming off a bye week. They were last seen in a 41-24 loss at Alabama. They were outscored 21-0 in the second half. Must have been a tough week of practice for them. Prior to that loss, Georgia defeated Arkansas, Auburn, and Tennessee all by at least 21 points. Kentucky coming off a 2010 loss at Missouri. The Wildcats were held to just 145 yards of total offense by the Missouri defense. Terry Wilson, their quarterback, passed for 35 yards. Just 5 yards.
35, baby.
And now you face a very angry Georgia squad. Let's see what we are dealing with here. Georgia opening up at minus 14.5. That has moved to 15 in a couple books, and we got a low total at 44 or 44.5. Let's go. John Ryan, take it away. SEC battle, Georgia, Kentucky.
Yeah, I think Georgia is going to have the infamous bad taste in their mouth in this game. They always seem to have that one game that just completely gets away from them, and now it's out of the way. In terms of the betting line here, it's a confusing line to me because I actually had them lined higher, and it's made me hesitate a little bit on just getting them right on the opening. I'm just pulling up the chart here to talk more about it. What rotation number are they?
This is, I just had it right here. The rotation number is 195, 196.
Yeah, it's the last one on the. That's why I couldn't find it. But anyway, Georgia's 18-5 against poor passing teams, and you just said that I think he had 35 yards passing, which is certainly better than 34 yards passing. And passing teams that are averaging 150 or less passing yards per game. So that's 18-5 right there in Georgia's favor. In terms of the rankings here, you got Georgia vastly better on both sides of the ball. And I know there's a lot of people out there that think Kentucky has a pretty good defense, but maybe not against this Georgia offense that you can just pound the ball between the tackles and use power running in this matchup all day long. You know, this is a game where I wouldn't be surprised if the number of passes that Georgia threw is 25 or less. Georgia's 35th in points per game at 33. Kentucky is 68th at 24.4. Georgia's defense, in scoring defense, despite getting lit up, they are still number 1 in the SEC, allowing 19.5. And Kentucky is 22nd nationally, allowing 20. But those two rankings are pretty darn close, but I don't think they're close on the field. I just don't. And I think Georgia is going to win this game and cover by at least 7.
Interesting. But you see that opening line at just 15 or 14.5, and it makes you tentative?
Yeah, because I have the guy, based on power ratings, I have it lined at 11.5. So the fact that it came out higher tells me two things. Either I'm dead wrong on this, or that the bookmakers are anticipating the bad taste in the mouth and the public is going to be jumping on Georgia because they're coming off a loss. And you don't have to read much to know that Georgia is better than University of Kentucky on paper. So I think the lines maker kicked that right out of the chute to get balanced action.
All right, let's go to CMAC. What do you think of this spot? SEC battle, Georgia, Kentucky.
Georgia has got the way better team here. And the spread's indicative by the total here. What do you have as the total real quick, Jimmy?
44.5.
Yep, 44.5. So they're thinking Georgia wins. I don't love it. I think Georgia's the superior team. I do think they win here. It's 2 touchdowns. Kentucky has no offense. They haven't done anything that want to make me back them as a double-digit dog, which I like. And, yeah, with Georgia coming off a loss, I don't want to step in front of them here. It's Georgia or pass, in my mind.
Georgia or pass. Noli knows. What do you think of this spot, Georgia, Kentucky?
I mean, right away, when I look at these two teams matching up, I mean, I want to jump on the under right away, but they set it at a number where I really have to be a little bit more cautious now. I mean, they mentioned it in the chat. Kentucky really hasn't been able to do anything offensively. They've relied heavily on their defense. You look at their win against Tennessee, there was 2 pick sixes in that game. to be able to produce the 34 points. Even when you see 24.4 points per game, it's not really who they are. I don't think they really can score that much week in and week out. And in this game, I think that they know that they can't keep up with the Georgia offense. I expect them to run heavily, take a lot of clock off, run a lot of clock, take a lot of it off the board. And I think the only way to look for me would be the under. I don't know if Georgia can cover the 15. I would expect them to, because Kentucky hasn't done anything offensively, going against a really tough defense, only giving up 65.5 yards rushing. So you look, they're not able to pass the ball on Kentucky's side. The only thing they can do is rush. Now they're facing the best rushing team in the nation. It's a very tough ask for this Kentucky team. Might be getting shut out this week. I still be leaning towards the under. If I get 44.5, I think I still might pull the trigger on this one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting breakdowns from everybody here. Is Georgia first half like Michael Irvelina's thinking? Is that something that you'd be interested in, John?
I guess you have to assume that Kentucky's not going to score 14 for the game, and therefore they're not going to score a touchdown in the first quarter. When it's mismatches like this, it's more likely that the game maybe starts out with Georgia scoring on the first drive, and then Kentucky looks good on the first drive but stalls in the red zone, gets a field goal. Then all of a sudden it's 14-3 after another Georgia score. That's a pattern that I think that has happened to me when I back a double-digit dog and I see them get the field goal first. It's not a good sign, because that's a 4-point play as I call it. That third down situation where the defense held them, that's a 4-point play. And Georgia has the ability to do 4-point plays every single time in the red zone. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kentucky kick 4 field goals in this game and lose 31-12. So the first half is, it's tough. I don't have any good insight on that to really nail down a bet. But I like Georgia for the game quite a bit.
Georgia full game for John Ryan.